Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. Discover your life's purpose, reprogram your mind for success, and attract an abundance of paying clients to your business. Now, here's your host, Tom Tenaglia.
Aloha, Empowered Entrepreneur. I am Tom Tenaglia, and you're listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. And today I want to share with you a common theme that I've noticed with entrepreneurs that are learning how to position what it is that they do so that it attracts their ideal clients. One of the key factors that I find in making an offer attractive is in the specificity of it, but not from a pure details perspective, from a level of tangibility. What is it that their ideal clients can do with what it is that they're presenting? Okay, so for example, I do a lot of astrology. Okay, the astrology itself is very abstract, and it's what I take on as my responsibility to bring it into something that is tangible, something that my clients can do something with. So using astrology to manifest their ideal partner, using astrology to find their ideal clients, using astrology to navigate situations in life, and even getting more specific on what those types of situations are. What I find is there are three tangibility tests, if you will, that I like to use when thinking through and evaluating whether something is actually tangible enough for attracting ideal clients. The first one is actually pretty common in the copywriting space, and it's the idea that, can you film it? What would it look like if you put a camera on it, right? So, if you say something that's abstract, even, I help single parents. Well, single parents, yeah, it does kind of paint a picture, but how would I film it? Okay, showing one parent with one child, but you help single parents do what? Maybe are you helping them with the co-parenting? In other words, is it a product or service that's helping the two parents work together? Or is it the single parent relating to the child and how the one parent maintains a strong and positive connection with their kid, right? Because what you put on film, if you were to film it, would be different if you were helping the two parents relate and raise the child together in a co-parenting relationship, versus if you were helping one parent with their kid. And then you can even get more specific in terms of, well, if you're helping one parent with their kid, what are you helping the kid do? Or who are you helping the kid become? And so you can start to think through, okay, well, if I were to write a scene, write a movie on this, how would I film it? And that really begins to hone in on a level of specificity in an offer. Another one that I like to use is the idea of the referral. And the question, I've said this in some previous episodes, but in slightly different ways. The way that I like to look at this is where I ask the person. So if I were working with you if you were my client and I was asking you and we were refining an offer and getting it specific, I would say to you, how would I know if I'm talking to somebody who would be a great referral for you? And that also hones in on the ideal customer, and it helps refine the offer a bit, right? It helps refine the offer because then you're thinking, well, if the person says this, or if the person does this, or if the person has these things going on in their life, or if you hear them that they just went through this type of situation, or they have this type of problem, or this type of pain point, and then you get a little bit more specific on it, and it helps refine it. So if somebody says, "Oh, I'm just working with single parents," and we use the camera test a bit, It's like, okay, well, how would I know that they're the perfect referral for you if I'm talking to somebody and they go, "Oh, I'm a single parent." Like, what else would they have to say, or demonstrate or explain, because single parent, one child, single parent, multiple children, is how's their co-parenting relationship? See, what's interesting then is because then you can get into filtering. You can then get into filtering to see if they even make sense to be that referral or not, right? So, for example, right, somebody could work with single moms that are raising boys, and the boys go through phase growing up. Mom doesn't know what to do. That's a very, that's a very specific niche, and then you can even get into a little bit more details around that. But knowing who, like if I had a person who was working with single moms raising boys, I would immediately, like, that would get me to think of them and send a referral their way, right? So it starts asking, it's questions that then start refining. The third one, which I really like, is kind of, and I do them in this order. I do go through them in this order. Is if I were to then say what it is that you do to 100 people, how many of them would have the same internal representation, the same picture, sounds, feelings in their head from one another? Or would there be 100 different interpretations of it? Because if I just say I help single parents, where there's probably 100 different interpretations of it, if I talk to 100 people. Well, I help a single mom raise 2 boys. Well, okay. These aren't things I actually do. I don't have products or services that do them. People come to me for astrology. I could help a single mom raise boys based on the astrology. That's not a marketing angle that I've taken on it, though. So it's still something that it gives you that litmus test of, is it specific enough? Right? So the first one, again, the first tangibility test of how would I film it? It gets you to bring something abstract into the physical, because in order to film it, you have to be able to represent what it is that you're doing in the physical world. Okay, so I start with that one. The referral one then gets you to really refine who it is that you're working with, thinking about it from the perspective of you go meta on it. It's what other people are perceiving in what's going on in the world and what they're hearing, so they know to send them to you. Okay, so it gets you to go a little bit more. So whereas the first one brings the energy into the physical world, the second one gets you to kind of refine how you're anchoring it into the physical world. And then the third one with the 100 people test gets you to really think through, does this scale, and does this actually meet the test of, if I used the same idea of what it is that I do would be known to the people that I'm talking to. If I just say I do astrology, that's too abstract. Some people would just group me together with other astrologers, and I'm very different than any other astrologer. It's the way that I bring the astrology in for problem solving and for navigating different areas of life that sets it apart. And that's still abstract. That's what I'm aware of. And then in each of my marketing avenues, and each, so I take the three major areas, right? So, the three areas of life that marketers tend to group them in, as they call it: money, relationships, and health. And from what I do, we look at it from a career, relationships, and could be physical health, could be health and fitness, different ways of looking at it. So mainly I'm focused on relationships and career, and within relationships, there's attracting your ideal partner that I like to focus on. And there's also navigating a breakup, although that's a very a different type of product suite and stuff like that, that I will occasionally, look into and focus on. And from a career perspective, I'm mainly working with entrepreneurs. I'm mainly working with entrepreneurs at a certain area in their business growth, and helping them find their ideal client, helping them refine their offer a bit. And then some who are getting a level of progress, how they take it to that next level. Because in positioning this, we then have to make sure that, okay, is what I'm offering going to, well, I mean, does it fit the type of person that would buy it? In other words, once we've crafted then the type of person that we are, the ideal customer that we're marketing towards, and we have our offer, we need to make sure that they line up. Okay, so people, for example, sometimes people get into the money space and they're like, well, I can help people with learning how to save or learning how to have a fund for a rainy day or whatever. Except they may not have any money to buy a product or service in that space because you're marketing to people who don't have the money. So putting it together, when you have these tangibility tests, you're figuring out if the message that you're communicating is universal. And then in the course of doing that, a portion of who your ideal customer comes out of it, especially when you look at that referral equation, right? Because that referral equation starts to really build the, who it is that would be that perfect fit. Because for some reason, when we just think about, well, who do we serve? What do we provide? People tend to go so big picture, and that's great, but it's not good enough for a lot of marketing. You can do it. I actually think it can be harder to do because you have to get people that are ready for that bigger picture stuff. And so another question that kind of comes up is, are these people that you're marketing towards, are they in a position where what it is that you're saying that you do is something that they know that they need? And so I'll have a few episodes lined up that we'll be talking about these things from different perspectives. These 3 tangibility tests, right? The first one, can I put a camera on it? How would it look like on film? Again, it brings the abstract into the physical world. The second one, how would I know that someone would be the right person to refer to you? Is really thinking through, okay, who these people are in a whole different way. And then the third one is checking, does it scale? Because you're asking, okay, if I said that to 100 people, if I gave this idea, this concept to 100 people, would they all have the same, or how many of them, how close to 100 of them would have the same picture, sound, feelings in their head, that they would get it, right? So to some degree, saying using astrology to manifest your ideal romantic partner, I have to begin to explain what an ideal romantic partner is, but it's one person. See, people already know from that it's one person. It's not using astrology to get thousands of dates, go on thousands of dates and be with thousands of people. That's not what using astrology to find your ideal romantic partner is. So it immediately filters it, right? It gets, oh, you want to find your person? Well, have you used astrology to do it? Well, what do you mean you can use astrology to do it? Well, you've probably been out there looking, trying to find your person, and yet astrology tells you to map it. It gives you a way to go do it. You can go find who your person is. And now that's a new avenue. So it's something they haven't potentially already tried. And so it gets into why they should listen to you and stuff like that. And so we'll be talking about these different elements, these different flavors of ideal client attraction, in the next few episodes as we go through various topics. But for now, really think through, okay, as you think through what it is that you're offering, how does it go through that litmus test? Okay. And more so, as you think through, so if I were to film an ideal romantic partner, it's 2 people in a relationship that's purposeful, that's happy. It's actually that it fulfills what each of them want. And it's less about what I think it should be. It's more, are they in their ideal relationship? So it's 2 of them being fulfilled, 2 of them being happy and doing whatever it is that they want to do. It's their ideal partner. And I can film different couples, for example, if I were to demonstrate this in a movie, that are doing completely different things, but they're all having that level of fulfillment. And I'm able to demonstrate that on camera. How it, from a referral perspective, they've been looking for their person. They either have too many options, they don't know how to pick, they have no options and they want to find their person, or they've had some dating success and it just feels like every single time they're just coming back to square one. So, it's really honing in on, which of those categories the person is, but mainly it comes down to they want to find their person. And they want a relationship of substance. They want a relationship that has a purpose. It's not just a relationship for the sake of being in one. There's some sort of intention they can give it. Those are probably the two pillars of the referral equation on that one. And then 100 people. I mean, you say ideal partner. Yeah, they may not get it. But if you say your life partner, your romantic partner that you can build a life together with and live a fulfilling relationship with, the nature of this particular niche, especially doing anything with astrology, because astrology is so individualized, is there is that element of it's whatever it is that's that for them, right? So whatever is going to bring them fulfillment, whatever is going to be their ideal relationship. And each person, if I said to 100 people, it's your ideal relationship, they would get an idea about what that represents to them. But in the idea of an ideal relationship is this level of fulfillment. It's everything they want. So if we just look at it's everything that you want that's present there, nothing that you don't want, and you're just able to grow a relationship together, people get it. Okay? So actually, by the time this episode comes out, if that is something you're interested in, you can go to avatarattraction.com and I have some resources there. I have a book on how to use astrology to find your ideal partner coming out, and it'll be on avatarattraction.com. So go ahead and put these 3 tangibility tests to use, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next one. We're going to continue to go on a couple of different themes here as we go through refining your offer and attracting your ideal customers from a whole different perspective. So yeah, take your current offer and your ideal, what you know of your ideal customers, and run it through those 3 tangibility tests. And then as we go through the next few weeks of episodes, we'll continue to build from there. And I think where you land will be even further along in terms of knowing that what you're asking from the universe from a marketing perspective is going to result in who it is that you want to work with and the services that you want to provide. So go ahead and apply that into your business. And I hope this was helpful, and look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. And with that, aloha, hui hou. I'll talk with you again soon.
Thank you for listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show.